morning to all of you. Today we are going to study about wave optics. Today also in next class we will study about wave optics only. And in wave optics, most of the times they used to give two questions. Most of the times in CET or NEET level. So last time they gave two questions. So we'll expect the same manner. So now, when you consider wave optics, what is the first thing we should know here is, here we talk about everything, the phenomena shown by light. What are all the phenomena we will study here is, one is interference and another one is diffraction and another one is polarization. So these are the three phenomena we study in this chapter shown by light. But when you consider the whole ray optics, all the phenomena we explained based on the particle nature. That means light travels in the form of rays. But here light travels in the form of waves. That was said by Huygens principle. That means he will say like light travels in the form of wavefront, wavelets. So when there is a source, suppose for example I am telling one source is there, then it will send the light in all the directions in the form of wavelets. For example, I will just tell you, if you take a stone and throw it on the water surface, you will see ripples, circular ripples. So this each circle is like all the particles on the circle, they vibrate in same phase. So the locus of all points which vibrate in same phase, we call it as wavefront. Or in another way what we define is, suppose this is the source, suppose you consider light source, one point source is there. Then you can imagine one circle or sphere around it, and each and every point on that circle or sphere, they vibrate in same manner. Or in another way, when you take the light rays from a source, you have to imagine one surface which is perpendicular to all the light rays. All the light rays, that surface we call it as wavefront. So based on that wave nature, we study here interference and diffraction both. So both are almost same. So where it is all about superposition of two waves, which we have studied in waves also. That means when two waves with amplitude A1 and with a phase difference pi, if they superimpose, then the resultant amplitude formula is A square equal to A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos pi, because interference is possible when wavelength and frequency all are same. So that intensity is proportional to square of the amplitude. So that the resultant intensity we can write it as I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos pi. So this is the condition. So based on which the very first question can come in this. That is based on superposition. Whatever we have studied in waves, same thing will come here also. That means when two waves with two different amplitudes, with two different intensities, or you can take same also. If they superimpose, then there are two possibilities we have studied. One is under the condition that phase difference equal to 2n pi, or path difference n lambda, where n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. For these condition of phase difference or path difference, where path difference is related as 2 pi by lambda into phase difference. So if one of the conditions satisfies, like delta x can be 0, lambda, 2 lambda, so on. So if you consider the phase difference 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, so on. If one of the values is satisfying, then they undergo constructive superposition, and there the amplitude will become maximum, resultant amplitude, that is A1 plus A2. So that the resultant intensity also will become, that is under root I1 plus under root I2 whole square. So are proportional to, you can take. So this way, this is called constructive superposition. Same way, when you consider the other condition, phase difference equal to 2n minus 1 pi or 2n plus 1 pi, anything you can take. So that the path difference is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, where n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. Then the resultant amplitude will become minimum, that is A1 minus A2, and the resultant intensity will become minimum, that is root I1 minus root I2 whole square, where I maximum by I minimum, this is maximum, this is minimum, that is A maximum by A minimum whole square, or A maximum means A1 plus A2, A minimum means A1 minus A2 whole square. So based on this, the very first kind of question they can ask, that is based on superposition. Now here we are telling interference. A small difference is there, that is here we take both amplitudes are same, both intensities are same. Let's take I1 equal to I2, let's say I0. So two sources having same intensity. If they superimpose, then the constructive superposition only we call it as constructive interference. The destructive superposition only we call it as destructive interference. So if both are having same intensities, then instead of superposition we use the word interference. Same thing happens in case of diffraction also, but the pattern is slightly different. Formulas are slight different. Condition slight exchange will be there. So here if you consider A1 equal to A2, I1 equal to I2, let's say I0. Then the resultant intensity will become I0 plus I0 plus 2 root of I0 cos phi, where I equal to I0 2 I0. Here root I0 means I0. So 2 I0 if I take common, 1 plus cos phi. 1 plus cos phi I can write it as 2 cos square pi by 2. So 2 2s are 4 I0 cos square pi by 2, where 4 I0 is maximum intensity. Maximum intensity means root I1 plus I2, that is nothing but 4 I0, that is 4 I0. So the minimum intensity is root I1 minus root I2, but I1 equal to I2, so 0. So I minimum is 0. So here in case of interference or diffraction, when two light waves superimpose with equal intensity, at one point the maximum intensity will come. That we call it as bright one. So their intensity is maximum. So that's why we call it as bright one. And at another point are alternate points. So when you take one point bright, next point will come dark. That means their intensity becomes completely zero. And where intensity 0 means there is a decrease in intensity that will appear in the maximum position. But there is no loss of energy, there is no gain in energy. So where there is a loss, there is a gain. Both are equal, loss, gain. That's why we can say that conservation of energy also valid here. So that is what the intensity of, resultant intensity of two waves when they interfere each other. So based on these conditions, we can get the first kind of question. I'll show you the examples also. We'll solve the numericals, same like previous classes. Now, today, we will just study about this interference only. Next class we'll study about diffraction and polarization. Now, when you consider interference, before that, we need to understand few things based on which also questions can come. That is, as I said, wavefront. So different shape of wavefront. Suppose there is a point source. So point source means light rays travel in all the possible directions. Now if the point source is on the plane, then wavefront is circle shape. A surface which is perpendicular to all the light rays. So this is called circular wavefront. Or if the same thing is SPN, space. Now you can imagine a sphere around it. Then we call it as spherical wavefront. So for a point source, you can get circular wavefront or you can get spherical wavefront. Or for a point source at very far distance, the rays appears to coming parallel to each other. For a point source at infinite separation, then rays appears to coming parallel to each other. That's why we call it as, that is, if you take the perpendicular at any position, that is like a plane surface. So that means plane wavefront. We call it as plane wavefront. So for a point source, there may be a circular wavefront, there may be a spherical wavefront, there may be a plane wavefront, three types. Now when you consider a line source, so line source means like tube light you consider. Make it to stand on the ground. Then light rays will go in all the directions. So you can imagine one cylindrical surface which is perpendicular to all the light rays. So that's why here cylindrical wavefront will come in case of line source. So usually we use line source or point source. And also one more thing, intensity of any source when you consider, first point source, intensity is proportional to 1 by r square distance, and for line source the intensity is proportional to 1 by r, because intensity is inversely proportional to area. So for point source means sphere, 4 pi r square. But for line source it is cylindrical. What is the surface area? Curved surface area is 2 pi RH. That's why r. So intensity inversely proportional to area. So this formula also you try to remember it. Now here for example, one example I will tell you. Suppose there is a convex lens. So rays are coming and falling on it parallel to principal axis. Then what kind of wavefront we call it as? Incident wavefront. That is plane wavefront. Now they will go like this. They pass through focus. So that they will go like this. That means that will emerge out what kind of wavefront? Spherical wavefront. So they can ask you the question based on same ray optics concept, but here they will ask about what kind of wavefront, whether it is plane wavefront or circular wavefront or spherical wavefront. So that kind of questions also they can ask you based on the wavefront. What wavefront will emerge out of a convex lens, or what wavefront will reflect from a concave mirror, or what wavefront will come out of a prism. So these kind of questions also they can ask you. Now after this, the next kind of question, that is based on what is the other kind of question. So the question is very simple. Here Snell's law. When you derive Snell's law using this wavefront concept, sin I by sin r equal to mu2 by mu1, where mu2 is the medium in which the refracted ray is entering, mu1 is the medium in which the incident light ray is traveling. So this is incident light medium, this is refracted light medium. Now this is also equal to V1 by V2 or lambda 1 by lambda 2, because V equal to F lambda. When light enters from one medium to another medium, wavelength changes, velocity changes, but frequency remains constant. Where speed or wavelength in any medium, if you consider, that is V by mu or lambda by mu. So inversely proportional to refractive index. That's why mu2 by mu1 will become V1 by V2. So based on this question, based on this equation also, many times they asked question in the CET and NEET level. So just try to understand. Just try to remember. Simple questions will come. Now after this, the main thing comes, that is Young's double slit experiment. In a simple way I will tell you, just try to understand. Because when we solve the questions, you will understand in a better way. Here what you have to understand is just formulas, condition. Like, see, the Young's double slit experiment, what it tells about everything is, what is the interference pattern, how it forms, what is the reason. See, what he has done is he took two sources S1 and S2, two sources separated by a small distance in terms of micrometers, millimeters. Now he arranged one screen at a distance d from the sources, and here he arranged one source. So why he took like this? Because he said that to obtain interference pattern, they must be coherent sources. The two sources from which light rays will come, those two sources must be coherent in nature. Coherent means they must have constant phase difference or zero phase difference. That is possible only when the original source is same. That's why originally light is coming from here, and that will divide here into two parts like this. So that the light will go from here and the light will go from here, and at a particular point P, if you consider at a distance yn on the screen from the central position. So if you consider any point, you can observe either bright spot or dark one. Bright one means constructive position will happen, dark one means destructive interference will happen. But here at center always there is a constructive superposition, so there is one bright fringe. Then you will get above and below alternate dark and bright fringes like this. Bright, dark, so on, like this here also. So now when you consider a particular point, here there is a path difference between the two light rays reaching from S1 and S2, and that path difference equal to yn d by capital D. This is the first formula you need to remember, where delta x is path difference between two light rays reaching a particular point from S1 and S2. Like I will just show you. See, S1, S2, this is the point. This one. Now, this is the additional path. So that is called path difference between two light rays. Now that path difference is equal to this much. And if this is equal to n lambda, then this point can become bright fringe. So that's why here bright fringe will form. So here central one, next first, next second, third, fourth. So at a particular point, maybe third one, maybe fifth one. So when you consider nth one, the condition will become yn d by d equal to n lambda. So yn equal to n lambda d by d. This is the distance of nth bright fringe from the center. Third one they are asking, take 3 here. So you will get the distance. Similar way, there is also a condition for dark fringe at a particular distance. Nth dark fringe. Like this is first dark, this is first bright, this is second dark, this is second bright, so on. Now they will ask you what is the distance of 7th dark fringe from the central one. Then you will get the condition another one. Delta x equal to now 2n plus 1 lambda by 2 equal to yn d by d. Then yn equal to 2n plus 1 lambda d by 2d. So here n value is 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So first one means n0. Sir, I will get confused means you do one thing. You take 2n minus 1 formula here. Instead of 2n plus 1, you take 2n minus 1. Then yn will become 2n minus 1 lambda d by 2d. Then n equal to, you have to choose not 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so on, starting from 1. Then no confusion. 7th dark means n is 7. 10th dark means n equal to 10. So these are the two conditions, that is the distance of nth dark or bright fringe from the center, either above or below. Or they can ask question like this. What is the distance between third bright fringe above and below? That means here one third bright fringe is there, here one third bright fringe is there. So what is this distance they are asking? So you find y3 and multiply with 2. Because this is y3, this is also y3, third bright fringe. Then what is the distance between them means what? y3 plus y3. They can ask the question in that manner also. So remember these two conditions and then you can solve the question. Now, here one more condition also they used to ask. What is that condition is? Suppose you have used first one wavelength lambda 1. So these are the two sources and this is the screen. Now you have used first lambda 1 and at a particular position, at a particular distance. Now you got n1th bright fringe for lambda 1. Now you replace the light with another wavelength, another light lambda 2. Now at the same position you got n2. Suppose initially third one, next fifth one, something n2 bright fringe for lambda 2. So both distance is same. That means for first one n1 lambda 1 d by d. D and d same for both the wavelengths. For second one n2 lambda 2 d by d. So d cancel. So n1 lambda 1 equal to n2 lambda 2. So based on this also they can ask the questions. Or sometimes they will tell you, suppose this is the one light is reaching. So in the path of S1, suppose I introduced a glass slab of thickness T and refractive index mu. Then there is an additional path will come. So there is a shift in the position, like this will shift by some distance. This will shift. So everything will shifted up. Instead of that, if you introduce here, everything will shift down. And how much is that shift? So beta by lambda into mu minus 1 into t, or d by d into mu minus 1 into t. Now the question is, what is beta? Beta is, see here, suppose this is the central fringe. This is the next one. This is the next one. What? Bright one. Next one. Here or here, anywhere. You take any two successive bright or any two successive dark. The distance between these two, like distance of nth one minus distance of n minus 1. So some nth one and n minus 1. So this distance is called the width of one fringe, dark or bright. That only we call it as fringe width. Each fringe, bright or dark fringe width, how much is the width? That we represent with beta. So if you take the formula, it will become lambda d by d. Or sometimes they will also ask, like whole setup is immersed in a liquid or somewhere in another medium. Then what happens? The change what happens is the wavelength will become now lambda by mu. So everywhere in the formulas, in place of lambda, what you have to do? You have to substitute lambda by mu. Like here, it will become lambda by mu. As mu greater than 1, then beta value what happens? Decreases. So beta in medium by beta means inversely proportional. So 1 by mu. So beta in medium will decrease. So that way the questions can be asked based on the Young's double slit experiment. That is all about interference. But I can tell you very confidently that very simple questions will come and very complete formula based questions will come. You need to understand the question. And one more thing I will tell you, the question will be big always in this chapter. But solution is half of the question most of the times, especially CET and NEET level. Only thing you should have patience to read the question and understand each and every word properly and collect the data. And one more thing, every time angstrom, nanometer or millimeter, micrometer they will mention. The conversion should be done properly. Then only you will get the 100% correct answer. So this way you have to focus, you have to understand based on this thing. Now we will try to solve few questions. And in the next class we will study about diffraction and the polarization part. Right? Now let's see few questions. To understand few questions based on whatever we have discussed. It's all about interference, or better to say Young's double slit experiment. So the very first question here it is, the distance of fifth dark fringe from center is 4 millimeter. So the distance of fifth dark fringe. First, what is the condition for nth dark fringe? 2n minus 1 lambda d by 2d. So fifth means n equal to 5. And capital D given, lambda given, then distance between the slits that is small d they are asking. Small d equal to 2n minus 1 lambda d by 2 into yn. So this is what they are asking. So here I told you two formulas, 2n plus 1 if you take, n starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, then there is a confusion will come. That is fifth dark means n equal to 4 will come. But if you take 2n minus 1 formula, then fifth means 5, fourth means 4, seventh means n equal to 7. Now all the values given, each and every value. Only thing you need to take care properly, like yn 4 millimeter, 4 into 10 power minus 3, lambda 600 nanometer, 600 into 10 power minus 9 meter, and capital D is 2 meter. Then try to solve it. Then you will get in terms of meter. Then you can convert it into millimeters. So try to get the answer in terms of something into 10 power minus 3 meter. So that 10 power minus 3 meter, you can write it as millimeter. So this way, you just understand the question and take the data and take suitable formula. Now, in a double slit experiment, when light of wavelength 400 nanometer was used, the angular width of the first minima formed on a screen placed 1 meter away was found to be 0.2 degrees. What will be the angular width of first minima if the entire experimental apparatus is immersed in water? So angular width means you have to take angular position. See, just like if you consider there are two slits. Now there is a screen. Now there is one central maxima. Next, minima, then maxima. Now this one they are asking. Sorry, this one. So this angular position or angular width. So now angular width means theta. So here angular width means a sin theta, d sin theta equal to n lambda. Now n equal to 1 if you consider, sin theta equal to lambda by a. So here what they have done here is, if it is immersed in water, so here d value does not change, only lambda value changes. Then the angular position is directly proportional to what? Lambda. So you can take the ratio like theta 2 by theta 1 equal to lambda 2 by lambda 1, where lambda 2 is lambda 1 by mu by lambda 1. Lambda 1 cancel. Then theta 2 equal to theta 1 by mu, where theta 1 is 0.2 by 4 by 3. So 3 will go up. So 0.6 by 4. So 0.3 by 2. That means 0.15 degree. So they can ask you this kind of questions. Like as I said, when they immerse the entire setup inside the liquid or some medium, then wavelength changes, so that fringe width may change, position may change. So accordingly you can calculate whatever they are asking. Now the next question, if you consider, in a Young's double slit experiment, if there is no initial phase difference between the two light sources, that means those are called coherent sources. A point on the screen corresponds to fifth minimum has path difference. So what is the minimum condition? Path difference condition for minima is 2n minus 1 lambda by 2 and n equal to 5, because fifth one they are asking. So delta x equal to 2 into 5 minus 1 lambda by 2. It will become 9 lambda by 2. So just direct condition based question. See, question is this much big, but the solution is very simple. Just you should remember the condition, then directly you can answer it. No need to even calculate like this also. So n equal to 5, 2n minus 1 means 9, 9 lambda by 2, like that. Now, in Young's double slit experiment, the separation d between the slits is d equal to 2 millimeter, wavelength 5896 angstroms, and distance d between the screen and slits is 100 centimeter. It is found that the angular width of the fringes is 0.20 degree. To increase the angular fringe width to 0.21 degree, the separation between the slits need to be changed to. See, linear width of fringe formula is lambda d by d. Angular width of fringe width means that is equal to lambda by d. That's it. That is the difference. Even in next diffraction also we will see there also same thing. So capital D is there means that is linear. Capital D is not there means that is angular position. So this way when you consider angular width. Now this angular width, let's take theta equal to lambda by d means that theta is inversely proportional to d. So theta 2 by theta 1 equal to d1 by d2. Now d2, if you take cross multiplication, d1 theta 1 by theta 2. So now d1 is 2 millimeter into theta 1 is 0.20 by theta 2 equal to 0.21. You have to increase to 0.21 such that you have to decrease d1. Then how much will come? So it is slightly less than 0.2. Sorry, not 0.2, it is, this is 2. So it is slightly less than 2. So slightly less than 2 means approximately how much you can take? 1.9. Or else you just calculate exactly. So then also you will get it. So this way the question always looks bigger, but while reading the question you just take the data what they have given, collect the data. While reading only you just take, okay, distance between the slits, distance between slits and screen, or fringe width or anything, whatever data they have given, just take the collect the data and let's look at the question what they are asking. Then you can take the suitable formula and you can calculate it easily. Now, one more question. An interference pattern is observed by Young's double slit experiment if now separation between the coherent sources is out. Now the new D E will become half and the distance of screen from coherent sources is doubled. So new distance is 2 times. The new fringe width beta dash equal to lambda d dash by d dash. Lambda they are not changing. So lambda into d dash is 2d by d is d by 2 equal to 2 goes up means 4 lambda d by d. That means 4 times beta, initial beta. So it will become 4 times. So becomes 4 times. Such kind of simple comparison based questions also they can ask you. Now, as I told you, sometimes they will use two different type of lights or two different light colors of lights. Like one is blue color and another is green of different wavelengths, blue and green. If x is the distance of fourth maxima from the central one, then see what is the distance of nth maxima formula n lambda d by d. Now here n is same, fourth one, capital D same, small d same. Only here wavelength is different. So that here lambda for green greater than lambda for blue. Therefore, x for green greater than x for blue. So the distance of fourth bright fringe for green light is greater distance because its wavelength is more. Remaining all the parameters are same for the both of the lights because the parameters are same. Only once you perform with blue light, then you perform with green light. So what difference will come as lambda changes? Distance of nth bright fringe changes. That is what they are asking. So which is lesser, which is greater? Now sometimes little bit difficult questions will come where you need to apply the procedure. See, the intensity at the maximum in Young's double slit experiment is I naught. That means maximum intensity is I naught, where the intensity at any point is I maximum into cos square theta. We have taken the formula I equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos theta or cos pi. Let's take just remind you the relation I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos pi. Then when both are equal, I1 equal to I2 equal to I naught, then we have substituted. Then I equal to 2 I naught if you take common 1 plus cos pi. So I equal to 4 I naught cos square pi by 2. Sorry, pi by 2. So where I4 I naught is the maximum intensity, that is the intensity at bright fringe, that is I maximum. So that value here they mention as I naught. Now I maximum is I naught and distance between the slit and screen small d is 5 lambda. Then they are asking also capital D is 10 times d, that is nothing but 50 lambda. Then what they are asking, what will be the intensity in front of one of the slits? See, there are two slits. Now this is the screen. This is the central point. Now they are asking intensity on the screen at a point just opposite to one of the slits. That means at what distance from the central fringe it is y equal to d by 2, because this is d. So this is the data you need to collect from the given question, but they have given indirect data. So that when you consider at any point on the screen, when you consider at any point P at a distance yn, what is the delta x formula I have given? Yn d by capital D. Now here yn is d by 2 for this point, a point opposite to one of the slit, into small d by capital D. Capital D is 10 into d, here it is given. So d cancel equal to d by 20. But small d is 5 lambda they have given. So delta x will become small d by 20 means 5 lambda by 20, that is lambda by 4. Why actually I am finding the path difference? Because here in the question they are asking what will be the intensity? Here intensity they are asking. So what is the intensity formula? This one. But to find intensity, what I want? Phase difference. To find phase difference, what I want? Path difference. That's why I am taking. Now you can find phase difference, that is 2 pi by lambda into delta x is lambda by 4. So that is pi by 2. Now the intensity at any point is I maximum into cos square pi by 2. The phase difference pi by 2 by 2. But here in the question I maximum they have given as I naught. So this will become cos square pi by 4. Cos pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 whole square means 1 by 2. So finally what is the answer? I naught by 2. So bit tough question. So we cannot expect the same kind of question every time. But sometimes, as I said, out of 45 questions, 5-6 questions you can get a little bit very tough questions. So that tough question they can give from any chapter. We cannot decide like from this chapter only it will come or from that chapter only it will come. So on that particular year they have given one tough question from here like that. Now when you consider the interference pattern is obtained with two coherent light sources of intensity ratio n in the interference pattern, the ratio. So intensity ratio I1 by I2 they have given as n. That is nothing but A1 by A2 whole square, because I proportional to what? A square. So that A1 by A2 will become root n. And here we want I maximum minus I minimum by I maximum plus I minimum, where I maximum is A1 plus A2 whole square minus I minimum is A1 minus A2 whole square by A1 plus A2 whole square minus A1 minus A2 whole square, sorry, plus. Now from here, A1 value I can substitute as root n into A2. Now you substitute everywhere. Like here A1 equal to root n A2 plus A2 whole square minus root n A2 minus A2 whole square whole divided by here A1 plus A2 again root n A2 plus A2 whole square plus root n A2 minus A2 whole square. Now if you take A2 common here and here, both will get cancelled. So it will remain root n plus 1 whole square minus root n minus 1 whole square by root n plus 1 whole square plus root n minus 1 whole square. So here a plus b whole square minus a minus b whole square. Just it will become 4ab. And here it is like a plus b whole square plus a minus b whole square. That will become 2 into a square plus b square. So this way you can find the answer. Just calculate a plus b whole square, a minus b whole square. So here little bit mathematical calculation is becoming difficult. The concept is easier, but this calculation you need to do quick and fast. The quick and perfection, both are important. That's it. Now if you consider the next question, a fringe width of a certain interference pattern is beta equal to 0.02 centimeter. What is the distance of fifth dark fringe from the center? So beta value they have given means lambda d by d value they have given. That is 0.002 centimeter. Now they are asking distance of fifth dark fringe means that is 2 into 5 minus 1 lambda d by 2d. That is 9 lambda d by 2 into d. So this value I can substitute as this one. So then you will get the answer 9 into 10 power minus 3. Now, so what data they have given, what they are asking. So if you can try to combine both of them, then definitely you can get all the questions in this chapter. Two coherent monochromatic beams of intensities I and 4I respectively are superposed. Then maximum and minimum intensities are in the resulting pattern are. So I maximum means root I1 plus root I2 whole square. That is root I plus root 4I whole square. That is root 4 means 2. So 3 root I whole square. That is 9I. Then I minimum means root I1 minus root I2 whole square. That is root I minus root of 4I whole square. That is here root I, here root 4 means 2. So root I whole square, that will become I. So option D will come. Now, in Young's double slit experiment, the aperture screen distance is 2 meter. That means capital D is 2 meter. The slit width is 1 millimeter and small d is 1 millimeter or 10 power minus 3 meter, and wavelength is 600 nanometer means minus 9 meter, and a thin glass plate of refractive index 1.5, thickness that is 0.06 millimeter means 10 power minus 3 meter. Then there will be a lateral displacement of the shift. So they are asking the shift. What is the shift formula? I said d by d into mu minus 1 into t. D is given, small d given, mu given, t given. You can find everything. So this way, so while reading the question, you just collect the data and convert it properly. Then you can get the quick and perfect answer, obviously. Now, I think one last and final question. So just try to understand this. In Young's double slit experiment, the slit width and the distance of slits from the screen both are doubled. The fringe width is. So what is the fringe width formula? Lambda d by d. Now here beta dash by beta equal to lambda. Are they changing wavelength? Slit width and the distance of both are doubled. So fringe width. So lambda they are not changing. Only d dash by d into d by d dash because d is inversely proportional. D dash became double and small d also became double. So both get cancelled. So implies beta dash equal to beta. That means remains unchanged. If you make them both are, if you make both of them double, then the fringe width remains same. So this is how you have to do. This is how you have to solve the questions based on wave optics. That is, one is interference pattern. That means how the constructive and destructive interference happens. And another one is based on Young's double slit experiment. So on that particular thing, how many different type of questions usually they will ask. So please understand the question, collect the data, convert into proper units and substitute and take care of calculation. And try to practice so that you can do fast calculation and you can get perfect answer. So this is how you just practice as many questions as possible. We'll continue in the next class with the diffraction and polarization. Thank you all of you.